Your support matters. With 90% of our viewers yet to subscribe, we need your help to keep creating engaging content. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let us know where you're watching from. Leave your city in the comments below. Liam had always been a devoted husband. He worked tirelessly to provide for his wife, Serafina, ensuring she had everything she could ever need. Their life together was built on a foundation of trust, or so he believed. As an ambitious executive at one of the city's most prestigious firms, he often found himself caught up in the whirlwind of corporate life, balancing endless meetings, late nights at the office, and the constant pressure to outperform. Serafina, on the other hand, had grown restless. When they first married, she was enamored by Liam's drive and ambition. But as time passed, she began to feel like a forgotten treasure, polished and admired at first, but now collecting dust on a lonely shelf. She had sacrificed her own aspirations to support his dreams, and now she found herself yearning for passion, for excitement, for something that made her feel alive again. Enter Dorian Vance, Liam's boss, a commanding presence with an air of authority that sent shivers down spines and an intoxicating charisma that left people hanging onto his every word. He was powerful, enigmatic, and, most dangerously, seductive. It started innocently enough. A few chance encounters at company gatherings, fleeting moments of eye contact that lingered a second too long, polite conversation, laced with a tension neither acknowledged but both felt. Dorian had always been charming, but with Serafina, it was different. He saw the hunger in her eyes, the longing for something more than the role of a dutiful wife. And Serafina saw in him everything Liam no longer gave her: attention, admiration, desire. One evening, Liam came home late as usual, exhausted from another grueling day at work. Serafina barely acknowledged him, her mind elsewhere. That elsewhere was Dorian. The next day, Dorian invited Serafina to lunch under the guise of discussing an upcoming charity gala for the company. She hesitated at first, but the thrill of secrecy was too tempting to resist. Over glasses of expensive wine and a candlelit atmosphere that screamed intimacy, the conversation between them blurred the lines of professional courtesy. "I see the way you look at me," Dorian murmured, his voice a velvet whisper that sent a shiver down her spine. Serafina's breath hitched. "And how is that?" "Like you want to escape." She felt exposed, as if he had read through every page of her soul and discovered the emptiness she tried so hard to conceal. The floodgates broke that evening when Dorian offered to drop her off after dinner. A simple drive turned into something far more dangerous. His hand brushed against hers, the electricity undeniable. When they reached her house, the silence between them crackled with tension. "You don't have to live in his shadow, Serafina," he said, his fingers tracing an invisible line on her wrist. "You deserve to be seen." That was all it took. The fire that had been smoldering ignited into an uncontrollable blaze. She leaned in, capturing his lips in a kiss that felt like a desperate gasp for air after being submerged for too long. What started as stolen glances had now turned into stolen moments. Secret rendezvous in luxurious hotel suites, whispered promises of desire, the exhilaration of knowing they were treading dangerous waters, yet refusing to turn back. Serafina had never felt so alive, so wanted. Meanwhile, Liam remained blissfully unaware. He continued to push himself at work, oblivious to the fact that the very man he strived to impress was the one unraveling his marriage thread by thread. But secrets, no matter how well hidden, have a way of surfacing. And as Serafina and Dorian's affair grew bolder, the risk of exposure loomed ever closer. The affair between Serafina and Dorian burned hotter with each passing day. What had begun as fleeting moments of indulgence turned into an all consuming addiction. The thrill of secrecy, the danger of discovery, it fueled them both, pushing them deeper into forbidden territory. But secrets, no matter how passionately guarded, have a way of slipping through the cracks. One evening, Liam returned home earlier than expected. The scent of unfamiliar cologne lingered in the air, a fragrance he knew did not belong to him. Serafina's nervous laughter and the way she clutched her phone as if it were a lifeline sent alarm bells ringing in his mind. His wife had grown distant, detached, and now there was tangible proof that something was amiss. Driven by a gnawing suspicion, Liam took a drastic step. He installed a tracking app on Serafina's phone. He told himself it was paranoia, that he would find nothing. But the truth had a cruel way of making itself known. A week later, Liam's worst fears were confirmed. The app pinged Serafina's location at a high-end hotel in the city, at the same time that Dorian had mysteriously canceled a company meeting. The pieces clicked together with a painful clarity that made his stomach churn. Rage and heartbreak warred within him, but he knew he needed proof. He enlisted the help of a private investigator, who in just a few days delivered an envelope filled with damning photographs. Serafina in Dorian's arms, lips locked in a passionate embrace. The confrontation was inevitable. One evening, as Serafina returned home, she found Liam sitting in the dimly lit living room, the incriminating photos spread across the coffee table. Care to explain this? Liam's voice was eerily calm, but the storm in his eyes spoke volumes. Serafina's breath hitched as she took in the evidence. There was no use in denying it. She had been caught. Tears welled in her eyes. Liam, Don't! He interrupted, his voice laced with pain. How long? She hesitated before whispering, A few months. Liam's jaw clenched. Was it worth it? Serafina swallowed hard, unable to answer, because deep down, she didn't know. The passion, the thrill, it had felt intoxicating. But now, standing before the man whose heart she had shattered, the weight of her choices pressed down on her like an unbearable burden. Liam stood abruptly. I deserve better, he said simply, before walking away, leaving her alone with her regrets. The fallout was swift. Liam filed for divorce, and news of the affair spread through the company like wildfire. Dorian faced the wrath of the board, and his once untouchable reputation crumbled. As for Serafina, she found herself lost in the wreckage of her own making. The man she had risked everything for had moved on, and the husband she had taken for granted was gone forever. Some betrayals are too deep to forgive, and some choices can never be undone.